Hey, what's up, family? So, I wanted to drop a quick message real fast. You know, here's something that I truly understand now when I have completely went through isolation and hit rock bottom. When I hit rock bottom, it was probably the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me, right? Because what you have to understand is we all go around searching for this certain feeling, right? Like when people drink all the time, they're searching for fulfillment. When they smoke weed all the time, they're searching for fulfillment. When they do all these things, they are searching for fulfillment, right? And a lot of times they don't understand this. And they're also looking for a certain level of peace. And a lot of people can't find that level of peace. And here's something that rock bottom taught me, right? And I believe that rock bottom can teach you things that the mountaintop can never teach you. That's why I think that certain people that's hit rock bottom, certain people that's been through the fire, that's been through adversity, that's been through the hardest life, the hardships, the heartbreaks, all the things that people go through, right? Those are the strongest, most wise, most peaceful people. And what I want you to understand is the reason that is because it takes a certain level of rock bottom. It takes a certain level of heartbreak, loss, adversity to completely transform you as a human being. There's so many people that go to churches and go here and go there and talk about God and all these things, but they don't carry peace at all times. Peace and love and abundance should be your natural state, the natural state that you walk in. And, that's something that I have found. It doesn't matter who comes and goes in my life. It doesn't matter if I lose a job. It doesn't matter if all hell breaks loose. It doesn't matter. I'm in peace. I'm even in peace in the solitude. And the reason that is because I had to learn to cultivate that peace within. I had to learn to be peace, to be love, to be abundance, to be happiness. It's within. As within, so without. That's why in the Bible it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And it also says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. There's little nuggets in the Bible that teach you these things. And I don't truly think that people understand the depths of it, because they'll talk it in a sermon, they'll talk it in a church, and they don't truly understand what that means. And that's something that rock bottom taught me was when I hit rock bottom and I had absolutely nowhere to go and no one to turn to. And I was tired of holding on to all the vices and living in the same life that I had always been in that never made me feel that level of peace and fulfillment. And I kept attracting certain types of women, certain types of relationships that all turned out to be the same. And I don't think that's not a coincidence. You're attracting the same type of relationships and the same type of outcomes because it's internal, the things that you're looking for. And when I hit rock bottom, you want to know the moment that I think that flipped the switch, the moment that flip the switch for me to completely transform that type of mindset, the old me into the new me, was surrender. Surrender. That is what God wants from us the most, and that's why a lot of us, we keep going through these same vicious cycles over and over and over and over, and we can't understand why we can't get out of it. And it's because eventually you have to hit rock bottom. You have to be so broken where you completely surrender yourself, completely surrender your life to where you just don't give a damn anymore. You give up on everything and you just say, I can't do this anymore. I'm letting go. God, please help me. And cry out to him. I'm telling you, that's what I did. And I've always been known as, the bad boy, the badass, the savage. I like to box and fight in the cage. And I did all these things that say that I'm this, this warrior, that I'm supposed to be tough, right? And I think that's a lot of the problem is I thought that I had to be tough all the time. And you don't truly understand what toughness really is. I was tough on the exterior, but in the inside, I was holding on to anger, to trauma, to so many things, right? And I think a lot of men deal with this because we think that we have to be tough. And the problem I have with that is I think that they have gave us a definition of tough that isn't true. Toughness in a man is, yes, you can fight, you can defend yourself and your woman or your family or the people that you love. You can go to war if you have to. But the thing that's going to make a man built different and built tough is the level of love and peace and healing that he carries within. You have to be able to be vulnerable as a man and express your feelings. And that's something that I never wanted to do because I always wanted to be tough, the badass. And when I hit rock bottom, I remember I was so broken and hurt and just sad with how things went. And I went through a heartbreak and I took all these losses. I completely got everything stripped away from me, right? And when I hit my knees, I fell to my knees and I cried like a baby, y'all. Like I had tears just pouring down my face because I was asking God, why? God, please help me. And I completely surrendered. I poured out all this emotion that was built up inside of me when I released all that. And it was that moment of surrender. It was that moment of surrender where he came to me and it was like I felt, it's hard to explain, but it's this level of peace and love that he covers you with. It was almost like he came to my room and just hugged me and just held me as I cried and as I was vulnerable as a man, and it's crazy to even say that I did that because I was someone that would get locked in a cage and go to war with another man, right? Savage stuff. And what I can tell you is what'll make a man tougher than anything in this world is surrendering and being vulnerable and letting his trauma and his heart and his soul pour out to be able to be that man that can have that deep conversation, to be able to help heal and love others around you, to be a walking representation of God. That's tough. That's even tougher than all the fights that I had in the cage, all the fights that I had in the ring, all the times that I ran the streets and I was selling drugs and all the things that I have done in my crazy life, right? Nothing was tougher than that moment where I went through complete heartbreak and I had to be broken down and vulnerable and heal from all the things that I was bottling up for so long. Right? And the thing that I realized after I went into that moment is, I've always had this, for years, had this butterfly with the skull in the background tattooed on my throat that I got a long time ago. And it symbolized something very profound, right? The butterfly. See, the skull symbolizes the dark past. And the butterfly symbolizes the metamorphosis that I went through, the complete transformation. There's no form of transformation like the butterfly. And that's kind of what the chosen ones and what people have to go through when they go through that isolation stage. It's that metamorphosis stage, right? Think about it. Like the caterpillar starts off on ground zero and it has very little beauty, what we would consider as beauty. It has very little use. It just, slowly slithers around, moves around, and doesn't really do much. And then it goes through the metamorphosis where it has to wrap itself and get covered in that cocoon, kind of like how God covered me. And it has to sit in that isolation where it's being transformed. And then it breaks loose, and it's that beautiful butterfly of it, like symbolizes growth. It symbolizes peace. It symbolizes abundance. I don't care how tough you are. When you see a butterfly, it makes you smile. It makes you feel peace. It makes you feel love. It's just beautiful and peaceful. You can just tell that the butterfly symbolizes peace and love and growth. You can just feel it. So that's why I got this right here, right? And, that's one of the things that I thought was so beautiful when I think about it, is how God puts little things on the earth like that to teach you of things that you must go through on this walk. And, that season of isolation, when you're wrapped in that cocoon and you're isolated, and maybe you're feeling alone, and maybe you just want a partner, and maybe you lost your old friends and things like this. When you're in that season, it seems very, very hard. And you're going to shed a lot of tears. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to grow and heal so much in your isolation season. But what's so beautiful on the other side of it, it's that butterfly stage, when you break out of that cocoon and you're just a walking representation of God, where you are the butterfly, where when people look at you, they see peace, they see love, they see joy, they see abundance. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You just carry that God essence with you. And that's the stage that I'm at, Even though I've been single for 4 years and I crave love, God knows this, And I just look at it as, if I haven't found love yet, if I haven't hit a certain goal that I want to hit, it's because God is still molding me. He's still teaching me in that isolation stage. Now, I know that I came out of my isolation stage because I found that peace, I found that abundance, that God essence. So I'm no longer in that isolation stage where I feel like he's making me stay in isolation to grow and heal. But the thing is it's crazy. After you get out of that isolation stage, it's almost like from the transformation that you had in that isolation stage, you'll put yourself in there now when you know you need it. Like when you'll know that when you've been around certain energies that get into your spirit, when you've been around certain things, or certain things may happen to you, or you may lose a job or go through some type of hardship, you'll go into that quiet place because that's your safe place where you and God had that metamorphosis, had that transformation. And it's crazy to think how far I've come since that moment where I hit rock bottom, and the leaps and bounds that I've made just in 3.5 years. It was like 30 years of trauma and hardships and a way of life that I was used to. I was running the streets, smoking weed, selling drugs, drinking all the time, fighting. I mean, just chaos, man. And to think when I hit rock bottom and I was stripped away from everything that I had, and I went into that season of isolation, God completely healed and purged me so fast. So fast, it's so fast. And it's crazy because it just shows that God's time is not our time. Like, it just shows you that time is just a man-made thing. Because he took 30 years, 32 years, whatever of life that I've had, all that past life that I had, he took 30 to 32 years of a certain way of thinking, a certain spirit that I carried, a certain mindset, a certain just way of life that I had, and trauma that I was running off of. He took that and completely healed it and transformed it and purged it in such a short span. So yeah, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of isolation, or where you feel like you've been set apart and pulled away from the world, seems like a long time, but it's your perspective. Think about it. Like I just said, 30 to 32 years of living a certain way, and it was completely healed and purged and transformed in 3 years, I would say. I'm going on 4 years now since that moment where I hit that rock bottom stage. But I would say that it took about 3 years for the completely healing and transforming and purging the old me and the old traumas and the hardships that I went through, and healing the heartbreak and renewing my mind and spirit and body, right? And then on the 4th year, which was this last year, 2024 year, where it was just building. Like now I'm taking the new mindset, the healed version of myself, the God essence, the power that I now have, that I move in, that I walk in. And I'm building on that now. I've been building on that now for a year. And that's really the goal. It's, the isolation stage is to completely heal you and purge the old person that you were, that metamorphosis, that caterpillar to the butterfly. That's very vital time. And you have to learn to embrace that time. Because if you're still in isolation and you're still going through that stage, understand it's so vital and so important, and it's so worth it. Because now it doesn't matter if people come and go and out of my life, if I lose this or I lose that or this falls away or anything, because I mastered detachment because of it. Because the only thing that I hold on to is my peace, my love, and my plugged in source to God. I'm plugged into that source, and nobody can take that from me. So it doesn't matter who, what, when, how, what comes and goes in and out of my life. I will always be love, peace, abundance, joy, God. I will always be that. And it's a crazy place to be at, because So many people don't understand why they're searching for this feeling in vices and things and people, places, things. They're moving all over searching for this and that, and they're going to doctors and getting medicine for anxiety and depression and this and that. They're searching, they're seeking and seeking and seeking and trying and trying and trying. But it's that rock bottom. It's that rock bottom stage. That stage where you hit complete surrender and you give it all to God. You completely give it all to that source and allow him to purge you and heal you. Stop trying to do it on your own and stop trying to seek your healing in other people and seek it in that source. It's time to plug in. And if you're like me and you're on that stage where you're coming out of isolation, just keep grinding. Keep your head up. Keep your chest out. Stand strong in that power. Be patient. Move in love. And truly love yourself. And stay plugged into that source. Because nobody can take that from you, y'all. So I love y'all, man. I just needed to drop this message real quick on this Friday. And I always say, stay focused, stay positive, stay blessed. And keep the kingdom mindset. And also, if you are feeling led to donate to the channel, I will leave it in the description. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Salute.